OSBT Standard Procedure 35, Fit for Duty, including Fatigue Management Employee Education. Fit for Duty. Purpose. This policy covers only those situations which an employee is having observable difficulty performing his or her duties in a manner that is safe for the employee and or for his or her coworkers, or is posing an imminent and serious safety threat to self or others. This policy prescribes the circumstances under which an employee may be referred for a fitness for duty observation. Purpose. The purpose of this fitness for duty policy are to assure the safety and health of individuals or others with whom they have contact, to establish procedures by which OSBT can evaluate an employee's ability to safely and competently perform his or her duties when a health or safety problem arises, and to comply with the Federal Drug-Free Workplace Act. Responsibilities: health, safety, security, and environmental, providing information from the supervisor regarding employee behaviors or performance, and from the employee regarding any relevant previous medical treatment information, identifying who will conduct the fitness for duty observation, and documenting employee fit for duty observation report, receiving the results for the fitness for duty observation. Take a moment to look at the Employee Fitness for Duty Observation Report form. HSSE continued. Communicating the result to the employee if not done so by the evaluator. Maintaining confidentiality except as detailed in section 4.1 below. Discussing recommendations as subsequent accommodations with the supervisor, and communicating with the employees as their rights, responsibilities, and employment status. Managers and supervisors, observing the attendance, performance, and behavior of the employees by his or her supervision. Notifying the HSSE Department or HR when an employee is exhibiting behavior that suggests that he or she may not be fit for duty. Employees, following this policy, procedures for completing an employee fit for duty observation report form when presented with the circumstances or knowledge that indicate that an employee may not be fit for duty. Managers and supervisors continued, removing and escorting an employee deemed not fit for duty from the worksite unless he or she poses an immediate safety threat, which in case the supervisor should call 911. Arranging transportation for the employee from the worksite if necessary. Maintaining the confidentiality of an employee's medical information, and implementing any reasonable accommodation deemed necessary. Employees and partners, performing his or her job responsibilities in a safe and effective manner with or without reasonable accommodations during the entire work. Notifying the supervisor when not fit for duty. Notifying the supervisor when a coworker is observed acting in a manner that indicates that the coworker may not be fit for duty. Complying with the policy and then any authorized request to submit to the observation. General requirements. Employees are responsible for managing their health in such a way that the safety program their essential job functions with or without reasonable accommodation. Employees who have the responsibility for the on-call shifts must remain in a fit for condition for the entire call-on period. Supervisors may refer employees to the fit for duty observation if they follow the adopted procedures. The determination by the supervisor to refer an employee for a fit for duty observation must involve consultation with a human resource representative unless the nature of the situation dictates immediate attention. General requirements continued. An impartial, independent healthcare evaluator with appropriate expertise, which will include one or more of the following: medical, psychological, alcohol, or other drug conditions, will conduct a fitness for duty observation. OSBT will make a final determination of an employee's fit for duty status. An employee referred for a fit for duty observation will be relieved of their duties pending completion of their evaluation. When an employee is found to be unfit for duty, his or her employment status will be determined by a case-by-case basis in accordance with OSBT policy and practice. General requirements continued. An employee's pay status, while fitness for duty is being determined, will be dependent on his or her employment status and the facts of the case. In all cases, OSBT must receive a return to work/fitness for duty form for the independent evaluator before an employee may return to work. In most cases, a re-entry conference with the supervisor and a human resource representative, if appropriate, will occur prior to the employee's return to work. General requirements continued. Confidentiality and privacy. Records of fitness for duties evaluations will be treated as confidential medical records and be kept separate from existing department and personal files. This information can be shared only on a strict need-to-know basis. After an evaluation informed will be available for the employee's work unit will be limited, whether a person is fit to resume his or her job duties, whether a person is a direct threat to self or others, whether a person needs specific reasonable accommodations. Fit for duty requirements. An employee is expected to perform essential job functions in a safe and effective manner, and to discuss with his or her supervisor any circumstances that may impact his or her ability to do so. OSBT may require professional evaluation of an employee's physical, emotional, and mental capacities to determine his or her ability to perform essential job functions. Such evaluations are conducted by the independent licensed healthcare professional and are undertaken only after review by the coordinating team. Return to work. In conjunction with the employee supervisor, the HSSE Department and HR shall discuss whether any reasonable or necessary accommodations need to be made. Continued employment shall be contingent upon compliance with recommendations provided by the evaluator, such as periodic testing, participation in professional counseling and treatment programs. During this time, applicable leave policies and health plan benefits shall apply. Results of the evaluation. The result of a fit for duty evaluation performed by qualified licensed healthcare professionals shall be presumed to be valid. Results of the evaluation will be received by a physician wellness as appropriate. The employee shall be notified of the result of the FFD by the evaluator wellness physician. Only necessary information shall be shared with the HSSE Department. HR will communicate whether the employee may return to work to the employee supervisor. Results of the evaluation continued. After an evaluation, information given to the employee supervisor shall be limited to whether the employee may return to full duty, not return to full duty, in which case the employee will be referred to human resource for the benefits discussion, or return to full duty with reasonable accommodations to meet with the evaluator's recommendations. Required drug testing, pre-employment. All applicants must pass a drug test before beginning to work or receiving an offer of employment. Refusal to submit till testing will result in disqualification of further employment consideration. Reasonable suspicion. Employees are subject to testing based on, but not limited to, observations by the supervision of apparent workplace use, possession, or impairment. HR shall be consulted before sending employees for testing. Required drug testing continued. Post-accident. Employees are subject to testing when they cause or contribute to accidents that severely damage an OSBT vehicle, machinery, equipment, or property, and or result in an injury to themselves or another employee requiring the site off medical attention. Follow-up. Employees who have tested positive or otherwise violated this policy are subject to discipline up to and including discharge. Required drug testing continued. Upon request. If a work order requires a special request for the site, OSBT will work around the request to provide additional requirements. Fatigue management. Employees report to work rested to prevent fatigue during a planned work schedule for the day. There shall be plans such that no one is scheduled for more than 14 continuous hours, including breaks and meal times, 2 consecutive shifts, and travel to and from site. As soon as vendor employees recognize that they may exceed 14 continuous hours of work, they must request an extension from the supervisor or dispatcher. Employees are obligated to notify their line managers and supervisors if they are fatigued to the point that they cannot safely perform their work activities. Fatigue management. When unforeseen circumstances require a person to work beyond this limit, the requirement is in the table must be read below. Vendor and its companies and subcontractors monitor employee activities, pay close attention to critical tasks, confined space, manual handling, tower climbing, and rigging, and behavior to determine if the employee shall be removed from the work site to obtain rest, or should be given a rest period upon arrival to work site before beginning work. Individuals may not work up to 14 consecutive hours and 26 consecutive days unless approved by line management. Fatigue management. Field-based individuals with a role that involves tasks that, if performed incorrectly due to fatigue, could contribute to an incident. Examples of roles described in above are including the following: confined space of a competent person, confined space of an attendant, confined space of an entrant, AT&T Vendor Performing Medium and Risk High work, drivers, manual handling, tower climbing riggers. Supervisors and dispatchers of the individuals may allow a 3-hour extension of ensuring that the place recognizes and manage fatigue. Individuals must immediately notify their supervisor and dispatcher if they are anticipated to work to exceed the 3-hour extension. Extensions beyond 14 hours are limited to 2 consecutive days. Duty manager approval is required for a 3-hour extension or 2 days of the limit are exceeded. This concludes Fit for Duty. Please follow the link and take your quiz.